Today we are talking about anxiety. Anxiety is such a buzzword topic, and I don't mean to belittle it by saying that. What I mean is there is so much anxiety for people around. Anxiety has become something that it's okay to talk about, something that it's okay to share. For so many years upon years, there was just this stigma around being anxious and having anxiety, and people who had anxiety or expressed that they had it were kind of pushed out to the side a little bit, or less mainstreamed, or people had opinions about what they had going on. There was names that they got called. There was all sorts of stuff that went on about people who had anxiety. You know, the people who took medication, they were the people who were unstable. But now, with the changes that have happened in the world over the last couple of years, there is so much more anxiety around. There is so much more people expressing anxiety. There's so many more people sharing the level of anxiety that they're feeling, because it thankfully has become so much more okay to share where we are at. So what is anxiety? What exactly is it? For many people, when I say to my clients, because I want them, when I'm working with someone and they tell me they have anxiety, I want to know what it feels like for them, because how I experienced my anxiety perhaps, and you experience perhaps your anxiety, and you know the people two doors down from you, how they experience theirs, are all going to be very different. Because what we have when anxiety comes upon us, and that's the sort of the state that we find ourselves in, there is a whole lot of events, there is a whole lot of dialogue and a whole lot of conversations in our head about what the anxiety means, what the sensations mean, how we got here, and different levels of what it would take for me to feel anxious, what would it take for me to feel anxious about something, versus what would it take for you to feel anxious about the same scenario or something different. When does my anxiety get really heightened, or my sense of anxiety get triggered, versus for you that's like, well, that's really all good, Lorna, I don't get any anxiety around that. And we'll all have those levels of what triggers us and what doesn't, what gets our anxiety to show up and to be present in our body, and then what do we do to move ourselves through it. So some of the sort of coaching conversations that I have with my clients are, so what is the trigger for the anxiety? Is the trigger for the anxiety a specific person? Is it a specific event? Is it a specific part of your environment? Is it somewhere where you show up? What actually is it that brings in this sense of anxiety in your body? It's really important to know what brings in the sensations. In coaching, we have this sort of conversation. It is, you know, how do you know it's time to do anxiety? How do you know that it's time to feel those sensations? And I know that's a little bit of a different way to frame it, but if we think and we frame it in the how do you know it's time to do it, or how do you know your body's going to do it, or how do you know that it's happening, it gives us a different sense of ownership around it. If we have a sense of ownership that we can maybe control, it's the wrong word, but I'll use that word. If we can control it, if we can manage it, if we can shift it, if we can identify where it is and what we can do with it, we can start to be able to release and relieve ourselves from it. So that's why I ask the question like that. How do you know it's time to do anxiety? And, you know, with anxiety, with anxious people, there tends to be a bit of an identity around it as well. Well, I'm just an anxious person. Well, I get all this anxiety. I'm always anxious. I have all this anxiety. So there's a sense of this is who I am around the anxiety, and a sense of, if I don't have this anxiety, what will I have instead? Who will I be? How will I know who I am? If I don't have something to worry about and don't have things going on for me, who am I then? So that's sort of a really brief kind of a roll around about what anxiety actually is. But let's take you step by step, as I promised, of how you can relieve anxiety for yourself, but also how you'll be able to help with your clients as well. Because I know many of you who come on these calls are interested in healing modalities and to help other people. But let's make it about you for this next couple of minutes. So when your anxiety comes up, when you feel those sensations of anxiety, when you think in your head that I'm feeling really anxious, I have this anxiety coming up, where is it in your body? Our bodies are amazing. I was going to say barometers, but barometer might not be the right word. They are amazing diagnostic tool. Think of it like that. My body is a diagnostic tool. When something's off in my life, my body will react. My body will have a sensation. Everybody's body has it, whether we notice them or not. Everybody's body has these sensations. So if you feel your anxiety coming up, where is it in your body? Actually, where in your body are you sensing this? Are you feeling this? Now, most of us will have one of three places. It doesn't mean there's something wrong if it's not your place, but generally we'll have our chest. So right across the chest will feel tight. There is the stomach that does the butterflies and does the sort of, sensations in the tummy. It feels like your tummy's turning over. Or it will be the throat getting gummed up, glagged up, clunked up. Blah. It'll be the throat words that aren't come out. I want you to know where yours is. Doesn't matter which one. Doesn't matter if it's different. You just got to know where it is. So if you're coming up with, I feel really anxious, I have this anxiety, where in your body you're feeling it? Deep breath into, where are you feeling it? Next, what is the emotion that's sitting behind it? Now, when I said the body is a diagnostic tool, what we need to do is go into our bodies and basically ask our bodies. The brain will tell stories. The mouth will tell stories. It will tell us a bunch of lies, but the body and the way it reacts never, ever, ever lies. It just doesn't, because it's so ingrained in our fight or flight. It is such an instant reaction, right? So here it is, into the emotions. What is the emotion that's sitting in behind the anxiety? You might need to sit for a minute, feel into where it is, and wait for what pops into your head. Trust what pops into your head. It could be all manner of things. Your anxiety could come from all sorts of things. I couldn't even begin to throw around enough examples that would land for enough people to necessarily know what your anxiety is. It could be a certain person you're going to go and have to spend time with. It could be a certain place you need to go to. It could be a certain task that you need to do. It could be a certain part of your environment that you don't feel safe and don't feel comfortable in. So feel into your body and know what the emotion is that's trapped in that space in your body. Feel into it. And if you don't know what it is, it does not matter. If you can identify, you can have got an emotion popping up. What's the intensity, 0 to 10? 10 is it's really, really high. 0, it's fairly low, if not nothing. But just feel into what is the emotion, what's the word, and what's the sensation, what's the intensity in your body. Once you've got that, it can be anything. For argument's sake, I'm going to throw around, I'm anxious because I am worried. Let's do worried, okay? Feeling really, really worried about something. Lots of things in my head, I'm very worried. So what you would do with your tapping is, you know what, we'll start here. Even though I have all this worry, I have all these worries in my head, deeply and completely accept myself. So if you're new to tapping, what you're going to do is, when I stop speaking, you're simply going to repeat the words I just said. So even though I have all these worries in my head, making my chest feel really tight, deeply and completely accept myself. So even though I have all these worries, they roll around in my head all the time, and they just make me feel so anxious. Deeply and completely accept myself. So what was the emotion that I decided I was going to have? Worry. All of this worry. I just have so many things I get so worried about. I have so many things I get so worried about. So many thoughts in my head. So many things that I just don't feel I can control. So many things that I just get so worried about. What happens if they do happen? What happens if they don't happen? All of these worries, they just make me feel so anxious. And I feel this tightness in my chest. when all these thoughts go through my head. All the time I feel so anxious. The times I get so worried. All these thoughts in my head causing me worry, causing me to overthink. Way too much going on. This tightness in my chest. This tightness in my chest from all of the worries and everything I've got going on. Oh, big breath in. Oh, itchy nose. Big breath in. Feel that sensation of calm. Feel that relax in the chest. Feels as your chest. Feel the relax in the chest. Your throat. Feel the relax in the throat. Check in and see what's going on. Now, the idea with tapping, we want to get you down to, a 0 to a 1 at the absolute most. That's what we want for you. So if you're feeling into your body, is it down to a 0 to a 1 yet? If not, continue on. And here's the thing to ask yourself. So say mine was all these worries I have. I would ask myself, is it still worry? I would ask my chest, is it still worry? Yes or no? Either a new word pops up or it just feels like a whole lot of worry. I do tapping on them. And again, all of this worry showing up in my chest, all of this worry, tightness in my chest, all the things I have to worry about, all the overthinking, all the words that roll through my head, all this overthinking, causing me all of these worries. Again, check in with your body. Is it down to a 0 to a 1? Is it still the same word? That is the easiest protocol you can use to do tapping and to help to clear what's causing it in the moment. Now, obviously with anxiety, there's a lot of, remember we talk tabletops, table legs, anxiety sitting as a tabletop. We want to find out what's in the table legs. We want to find out what all the events, what all of the memories, whatever the thoughts are, the incidents, the things that happen to you, things that happen around you, what are all of those holding on to in your body that is causing all the anxiety? Now, giving a quick example, my son flew overseas last week, missing to bits already. He's on a one-way ticket, so he's immigrated overseas. I recognised while I was in this space of working through, he was going to leave and he was going to go overseas and it's a one-way ticket, blah, blah, blah. I started to get these levels of, I would call it anxiety. So these emotions of anxiety were coming up and these thoughts of anxiety were coming up. What I recognised from doing my tapping was, it was my body remembering last time he went overseas. So he's done this before. He did this, I don't know, 5 years ago, say. He was a lot younger. And it was a very different circumstance that he moved overseas. So there was this kind of memory in my body of how horrible that had been and the emotions and everything that I had to go through when he left last time. It was my body remembering those. This time is significantly different. It's nothing even similar to when he moved last time. But I recognized through doing my tapping and going to the table legs, what I was feeling was the thoughts and the memories of last time he went and causing me to feel anxious and have this level of anxiety at this point in time. So remember, my brain went back to the old stuff to figure out why I was feeling uncomfortable in this present time. So it's a really cool thing to do if you're having these sensations of anxiety. Is it now, or is it your body remembering just like mine did? Did it remember the old stuff? Because that's what can happen. So it's been wonderful to chat with you once again around anxiety. Do the tapping with me, Diff. You need to stop the video and rewind it and do it a little bit more and feel into your body. What are the emotions and the sensations you're having so that you can release your anxiety, okay? Wonderful to be with you here once again. Have a great week.